currently on site at the GovPret building for We Power Public Art Project in collaboration with Baz Art, Danish Embassy, Kalashnikov Gallery and City Property.
We reached out to some of the most innovative and cutting-edge artists and galleries in the country.
The artist currently behind me painting is Mr. Fuzzy Slippers. On site 2 we have Iyo Makandal, and on site 3 we have Isaac Savale.
Yeah, we are in Pretoria. I'm busy making a mural about the necessity of renewable energy, since here in South Africa, like, we're facing the crisis of load shedding and also like the global warming that affects the whole world.
The artists are addressing issues around climate change, and each mural has a different focus, a different topic.
My theme is water and water awareness, sanitation. It speaks on water rights. Water levels are rising because the ice caps are melting, and so shorelines are being lost.
We need to protect our water. It's a scarce resource. Clean water, at least, that plants and animals and humans can live with.
For some odd reason, even in this age, people just don't have access to basic human rights like water, sanitation.
I very fortunately opened a fortune cookie once upon a time, and that was the message. The message was, without water there are no flowers. And I thought that was such a beautiful, like, poetic way of expressing those concerns.
Stop mining the coal, so like we can use like the sun, which is here every day, and it's here, it doesn't disappoint you.
I think we're in a particular moment in the history of human society, in that we're not just trying to cater for our own needs, but for those of the environment and our well-being in the future.
There's a lot of water that gets wasted because there's no ground for it to be absorbed in, so there's a lot of runoff. How do we become more aware of how water is used and dispersed and wasted essentially in the urban environment, and how can we help protect that?
People not having access to water, privatization of water, is something to be thought about and debated because people obviously can't access it. And so I wanted to do something that's like celebratory and thought-provoking. Plays on, like, you know, the rain dance. I wanted to do a mural that kind of celebrated African tradition around, you know, making the water happen. It was a sketch that I came up with to kind of express our oneness with water. You know, the rain will come, and after that the sunshine comes and the ecosystem replenishes itself as soon as we remember that water is important and we can't privatize everything.
Denmark has been cooperating with South Africa since the dawn of democracy in supporting South Africa on its route and its path, its journey in sustainable development. And we are running programs where we are trying to support South Africa in transitioning into a low carbon emission economy.
This is part of a bigger collaboration that the Embassy of Denmark has with the City of Tshwane, but also with the national government of South Africa, where we are working on energy projects, we are working on water projects.
All these programs are very, very important for the Danish Embassy and for the Danish foreign policy. It's in the core of the embassy strategy. And I'm so happy that we now also have art as part of the language and the messaging that we are doing.
I think the value of having public art is that it uplifts the environment that it's in. We use our creative capital to nourish and improve a space.
We get an outreach and we get this message about green transition and sustainable development out to more people in a different way.
I decided, like, if I do this mural, like portraying the township elements into it, maybe it might communicate with the people that I want to direct this information to. So my idea, it was to use like youngsters, because also like it will relate with them easier to look at the ways of how they can sustain their living conditions. If they can use the solar panel to generate power instead of using like electricity, the one that is not guaranteed, because sometimes it's on and sometimes it's off. So I think with the renewable energy or the solar panel, it will allow them not to go through those challenges, and also like it will make them save money.
Off-grid systems can be supporting people in township with getting access to electricity, which is key today to be able to study, to be able to communicate. And that access to renewable energy is not only important for the electrification, but it's also very, very important in order to mitigate and to lower the carbon emissions.
So in some of our residential buildings, we have harvesting of rainwater where the water accumulates, and at a later stage we can use it for watering of communal gardens, etc. to ensure that we are contributing towards sustainability and towards a better environment.
And what's constant about water is that the oceans are always there and the rain is always there. But it's for us to kind of conserve that and know how it gets managed and how we've come to this point. And so, hence this whole.
So it's my first time actually doing like a big scale mural, and yeah, it's a challenge actually working in a big scale, because also you have to understand the proportions, even if you could have your composition on your sketch, but like how it's gonna work now when you see the wall, the size of the wall. But like I feel like it's a good challenge though, because it's something new, and also like it's more exciting, and it's same as how I paint.
It's been a really great experience for me to understand a different kind of substrates to work on, you know, and to still try and achieve my mark making that I get working on paper or working on like a nice smooth wall. I worked with acrylic and primer paints, and then also spray cans, and I did a lot of washes. I've attached some cones to the wall, and I'm using that as a wall planter. It's used to draw attention and to attention people to a space. That's kind of what I'm using them for, as like a signifier to the space of it changing and developing, and like attention, watch the space, things are happening, things are growing.
I've added these shapes that kind of like tell a frame by frame story, where at the top you've got a waterfall in this natural environment depicting the natural world, and water falling down, you just see a beautiful serene scene, and underneath that you have a line of people. These guys are in line to get more water. So at the bottom of the composition you'll see there's waves engulfing this house and these figures that are dancing, and so at the bottom it creates this ominous atmosphere of what's happening, why is the house going underwater. And places in Southeast Asia, global south, Mozambique, some places in the east of our country get flooded year in, year out, and people have to rebuild their homes. And so I think that a lot of people, or some people, might identify with that and question it.
So I chose the speckworm because it's known for its capacity to absorb CO2 emissions. So it's a very good, environmentally sustainable, I guess, plant that we need to be planting more of. So because we're along the street and there are a lot of cars and there's a lot of CO2 emissions here, this will help clean the air. Also, it's an extremely drought-resistant plant and hardy plant, so it can withstand a lot of extreme environments.
That's why I decided to use like this township element also to show the brightness. That's why I chose also to use like the bright colors, like how we are vibrant and how also like we have hope. So for me, I was like, it's better to use like vibrant color also, not to show the sadness, just to show the happy side, even if like we're facing the challenges in this country. And also like to bring a bit of joy in the space.
I grew up in Pretoria. I'm based in Joburg now, and I was born in Johannesburg, but I actually spent 10 years of my life growing up here as a child, so it feels really nice to be back again in the capital city, giving back to the city that I kind of grew up in. Hopefully this mural brings a lot of joy and inspiration to people that live around this space and move around this space and work around the area. I mean, even while making it, a lot of people were very excited about it and wanting to take pictures of themselves in front of it. So I think already it's bringing some lively force to the space.
First mural doing it in my hometown after maybe like painting professionally for more than 10 years. It's a nice little homecoming. It's next to the, State Theatre, a lot of arts happened here, Semi Mark Square, a lot of hip hop jams when I was growing up in high school. So it's a bit of it's a nice moment. And I hope that I can inspire the next generation. I know I was inspired by this city. Victoria, make it rain,